So the repair of the Bae Hawk is coming along nicely. All right. What I'm going to do now is show you guys the next tip in refinishing a foam model, especially if you're using spackle, that flexible spackle I showed you guys earlier, which if you didn't see it, there it is again. That's what I use. Here's the tip with using spackle when you've used a lot of it. How do you keep that finish still looking good? The Hawk is pretty close to completion here. The nose is restructured. It's time to get some paint on here. I've showed you the sanding and getting everything nice and smooth. I've showed you how to use the light to pick up all of the little ridges and ledges. If you just shoot this now with the airbrush, this spackle will actually absorb the paint and will give it a very dull paint look compared to the rest of the model, which is fairly smooth and shiny. What you want to do before you actually paint it when you've used a lot of spackle like you see here is actually shoot it with the Minwax, and I'm going to use clear gloss on this. I really think any form, whether it's semi-gloss or matte, will work, but you're going to basically seal this off before you go ahead and shoot it with the airbrush. So my goal right now is I want to get all the plastic wrapped up because I don't actually want to shoot the plastic. I'll tape off some of the insides here of the fuselage area and give this thing 1 or 2 coats, not much, of the Minwax to seal it off. Let's get going. So the next step, now that I got the sausage pretty squared away, you can see that the tire is pretty centered in there now. Even with the light, everything looks good there. A lot of working in this area with the steamer that's actually popped out pretty decent right now. So what I did is I take these, you can use, people use bamboo little skewers for like cooking and stuff at the grocery store. I get some of these carbon rods. These are 2 mil, 3 mil carbon rods, one or the other. I don't even remember. It's been a while since I've ordered these, but I keep them around. I want to say that these are 2 mil, but I sharpen one end of them and I will stretch this exactly to the position I want and just keep twisting and turning all the way through, and you'll see like this one wound up poking out back here in the nose, so that's fine. So this rod now runs all the way down into there and we'll give it some support. So what I'll do is I'm going to slide this back out, I'm going to cut it off, stick a little foam tack on it, and then shove it through so that way it doesn't come back out. And I'll do that with all 3 of these. Let's get to it. Now that I have my carbon rods in place and the nose straightened out, we're going to get ready to start spackling this stuff. So anything that's got some rough edges to it or anything else, we're just going to go ahead and 400 grit fine sandpaper. We're just going to take the, I'm not going to sand this all the way down to nothing because I'm going to spackle over it. Just going to take the rough edges off so that way I know I'm fairly smooth. With this thing. We're going to do the whole nose. So now that we have the rough sanding done, I'm going to try and make note of some of these panel lines so I can still keep them. I think what we're going to do first is try and fill in some of the bigger gouges and holes And to do that, we are going to use flexible spackle, and it says right on it flexible. And to spread it, we just simply use a clean edge key card. So I want to try and still maintain some of those panel lines and circles. We're going to go over those. And also take note, I don't really go off any further than what I need to. So this side wasn't really bad. We're going to blend in a good bit of that with the paint. And you could see this side I stopped right here as comparison to the other side that goes all the way back over to here. So let's spackle. All right, next tip for you guys, I'm going to show you how to find imperfections in your putty work. So what looks to be normal and perfect, when you get paint on it, then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, that doesn't look very good. Use the flashlight. So if we look at the nose, you could see, hopefully in the camera, that it shows up just a bunch of putty across there. We filled in cracks and crevices and everything looks great. It feels pretty smooth. I've cleaned it, I vacuumed it, and I just want to show you and see how it turns up. Hopefully we can get this on to focus. And you can see right there, see that edge? You couldn't see that without the light. It looked pretty good. Use a light and just skim over the top of everything and it will show up any of those imperfections and the paint will pop on those. So, and I mean by pop, I mean by stand out, and you have to smooth that out better. So we are going to go through and just cast the light. You want to cast the light sideways across it. So if you want to be picky, you can be picky. If you're good with just, oh, looks much better and it's one piece, let's fly it, you can. I'm spending a little bit more time, so I'm going to try and be a little bit more intricate with it. Back to sanding. Next, I need to replace the retract in the nose, but it runs under this battery tray. Up in here is that wire. So that wire runs underneath and up in here. So I don't have to fish it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some string and I'm going to tie it onto here. So when I pull it all the way through to the underside, then I have the string sticking out. I can tie the new one on, pull the string back out. Next thing on the docket, gear doors are broken. You guys can see that the little tabs off the end broke. So I can't really get these pieces anywhere. I can't find them. So what I'm going to do is I drilled those holes right there. And I'm going to take a piece of carbon rod and I'm going to slide it through so they stick out through the holes just like that. And we will make new pins. So we got the gear replaced. We got it fished through, which was kind of difficult under the stickers. One of the things, if you can preserve some of the stickers, if you don't have the ability to get a sticker kit anymore, you can preserve them and just use a little foam tack, wipe it on there and press them down. They'll re-stick. So try and save your stickers if you can't get them anymore. Now, one of the tricks that I like to use when it comes to masking stuff off like this, instead of taping this whole area closed here, simply leave the tape on the inside above the edges like I did here. You can take your shop rag, whatever it is that you're using, and simply push it there against the tape like that. We'll sandwich it together, and then you can literally take this thing however much you need and squeeze it over onto the other side like that. And now that thing is sealed with both the tape and the cloth, so you don't have to mask off the whole inside. And then I'll rip off another piece and we'll finish that. Now it's time to go ahead and mix up the paint that we're going to use for our airbrush. Again, I'm using Lowe's. This is just straight latex paint. Take them a panel, they match the color for you, and put it up there. So even looking at it against the lid compared to the model, it's really close. I mean, that's like spot on. If you brush it on, it comes out 90% right there, simply because it's brushed on instead of painted like it is at the factory. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shoot this through an airbrush, but in order to do that, we have to thin it. So I'm just going to make sure that this stuff is stirred up really well. Then I'll show you where I start mixing and how we test it. Now I'm going to shoot this through the Motion Rc BenchCraft air compressor and airbrush. This thing works really well. Start off with the water first. I use these little suction bulb things. You can buy them through Amazon or any other supplier. They're next to nothing. I don't even reuse them. I start with one full syringe full of water. And then I will add 2, if not 2.5, of the paint. And the reason I do the water first is because I just don't want to dip the paint into my water and then wind up ruining my water bucket. Stir it up. And then these you can also pick up from Amazon or, you know, your airbrush supplier, Motion or whoever. And then I just put that on there to keep them sealed. And I will also take a piece of paper and I will label my containers. Alright guys, first things first, we're going to throw on the dust mask. I'm going to take my airbrush. This is a dual stage airbrush, so you can control how much air and paint. So down is air, back is paint. And we mixed up the Bae Hawk paint before. We're going to put this up in here in the BenchCraft. And on just a plain piece of backer paper, cardboard paper, something like that, you're just going to simply start to work that paint through. And how do you know if you have it the right mixture or not? If it's too thin on max paint, you'll see it just like that. See how it starts to spider web and it starts to blow out? So this paint is a little thin. What you want is a nice haze there. So as long as I don't go full with it, I can keep it there. If it comes out and splotches, then you know that it's also too thick and you're going to add some water. So I'm not going real heavy with this because I want to do a lot of light coats. And the Minwax is dried. Hopefully you can see it has a nice sheen to it. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to airbrush now over that sheen. All right, guys, it is time for round number 2 on the Hawk. We're going to go ahead and, as you can see, we're starting to cover up a lot of that drywall and stuff that was underneath that spackle. I did find what works best in here is a, for this paint anyway, I noticed there is some variations between the paint, but it is a 50-50 mix of water and paint from Lowe's. So let's get to shooting this thing. All right, guys, one more coat. Let's get to shooting. So I'm thinking this is going to be our last coat for this thing. Again, using the BenchCraft for Motion, running about 30 psi on that thing to get the paint to flow. Get you guys back over to here. We're going to, again, paints mixed at about 50-50 is what I found is best. I think this is coat number 4, and it's not a ton of paint that we're using when we go over this. I really like the color match though. I think it's spot on like normal. Lowe's doesn't let me down, and because we clear coated all the spackle in there, it's not soaked in and changed the look or the finish of it. So I think we'll go over this again. Mix looks good yet, and hopefully let it dry, and we should be good maybe to start throwing some stickers on this thing. So there we go. So we're done with the painting. Painting turned out really well. Color match is pretty good. A couple small imperfections, but out of all that damage that was on there, I'm going to deal with that by far. I'm not going to completely whack at this thing until it's perfect, but I'm really happy with the way that turned out. It's time to get the gear doors on there, all the little fixtures put back in, and let's get some stickers on this thing. Well, there you have it, everybody. There is the new debut of my FMS Bae Hawk, or I like to call it my Bae Hawk. This thing is one of my favorite planes. I was upset to see it crash. So glad it's back together again. So glad you chose to join me on the adventure. One of the things that I like to do in all my videos is try and bring content to you guys that's not out of reach. This is something I can do, you can definitely do. Some of the secrets, tips, and different things, techniques that I use that I just want to share with the general public. So let's take a look around this thing, will you? As you can see from a top view, things look pretty good. Paint out in the wide open is a very nice match. We put the decals on there. There's not a whole lot that you can see. I kind of stopped right here at the air inlets. So everything else is up front is pretty much redone. And I will go ahead and flip this thing over for you so you can take a look underneath. And we'll talk about a couple small imperfections I'm completely okay with. So this is what the underside looks like. Put a couple new stickers. Obviously the retracts got ripped out, so we redid those stickers underneath. So there's a couple little spots by the sticker I could touch up, and I probably will later with just straight paint, not airbrushing. And then underneath looks pretty good. There's a couple small blemishes that I missed right there. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the way this thing turned out. And it wasn't very expensive. We didn't get a ton of money wrapped up into this. Bucket of spackle, some paint, mainly the retracts that were broken. So realistically, from an expense point to get this thing back in the air and some stickers, guys, this was an easy fix. You could have spent a little bit more time in it to make it absolutely perfect, but this plane has well over 100 flights on it already. I'm hoping in its condition, if I can get another 50 plus out of it, I think I'll get a ton of money out of what I call an investment. I know a lot of people laugh at the word investment, but I really look at this as I spend money to go to an amusement park. How long do I get to stay? You made an investment in the amusement park. I make an investment in an airplane. The more flights I get out of it, the more worthwhile my investment was. My hard-earned money worth time and satisfaction. So anyway, again, it's Brendan here at Just Plain Crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that these tips and tricks actually helped you. Again, if you like it, subscribe to the channel, share the information, get this stuff out there. Don't forget to hit that bell notification and select all so you get made aware of all of my content. And if you haven't done so already, I've put out a Facebook group. It is a group. It is called Just Plain Crazy. Feel free to join. You want to share content. It's made to drive the hobby again, drive traffic to the YouTube channel. I also have an Instagram page now, so it's _ Just Plain Crazy _. So feel free to join in there as well. And I'm going to throw a quick shout out here to Wings Over Piper. That is held up in Lock Haven, PA. If you're interested in going to an event yet this year, you want to travel to Pennsylvania, come fly with us for a little bit. We'll be there for 3 days. I will be there for 4. It's a 3-day event. I go typically a day early to this thing. Feel free, come by, enjoy a great event at a really iconic, important place. Piper Aviation Museum is right there, so you can walk downstairs into this thing. You can actually sit in a Piper. They have like a simulated cockpit thing there, and then they have all these iconic Pipers down below for you to walk around, take pictures of. Super cool place. But anyway, an absolutely cool event. If you're into Piper Cubs or just flying anything, they allow everything to fly. Go check out their webpage at www.wingsoverpiper.com. You can also check out their Facebook page at either Wings of Williamsport or Wings Over Piper. Either way, fantastic event. Looking forward to it. I'm hoping to see you there. If you go by, make sure you give a shout out. Tell them Brendan sent you, but also come find me, and hopefully we can chat for a little bit. So again, like it, subscribe. Happy flights, guys. Peace out.